Hello there. Welcome to Rise and Receive. This is a reset point in your day where you get to explore how to receive your fulfillment by unlearning struggle. So, this week we are focusing on receiving wealth, and I am illuminating some blind spots that can actually block you or hinder you from receiving wealth. And so we're going to be illuminating a blind spot today that I call the enoughness blind spot. So if you are interested in opening the flow gates to receiving more wealth in your life and to really understanding what gets in the way, I think you're going to enjoy today's Rise and Receive. So this series is really focusing on illuminating blind spots, and I define a blind spot as when your current point of view hides an essential insight. We all have blind spots. And because I'm all about teaching people the skill set of receiving, a receiving skill set occurs when you're operating more as a human doing versus a human being. And so what happens is we rely on what I call the doing model of power. Most of us really are just completely trained and well practiced in a whole lot of doing to pursue the things that we want. But what often happens is if you don't know how to receive what you want, when you are not receiving, when you're feeling stuck, when the flow is not occurring, what we tend to do is we rely on what we know and we do a whole bunch more doing. So that keeps you in pursuit mode, but the receiving can actually keep eluding you. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I am passionate about teaching people about the very tangible, concrete, and results-producing skill set known as receiving. So today's blind spot has to do with wealth, and this applies to many areas of our lives, but it's really evident if wealth is something that you'd like to experience. The enoughness blind spot, what I'd like to do is talk about a clue so that you can know whether or not it might be in the way and blocking the flow of wealth for you, because by definition a blind spot means you're blind to it. You don't see it. Your current point of view is keeping something out of sight, out of your awareness. Just like when you're driving a car, if you have a blind spot, you can't even see that there's another car that's coming up behind you. So a clue that the enoughness blind spot might be getting in the way of receiving wealth is this. If your mind is focused on lack, let's say you're wanting to create wealth, you're wanting to experience wealth. If your mind is focused on lack, that can be a clue that your enoughness, that an enoughness blind spot is activating, and your body will feel restricted. Okay, most of us in our culture think that wealth is related to this feeling of being carefree, that you never have to worry about money again, that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want it. You have free reign. There's nothing that holds you back. So if you're wanting to build a business, you have enough money and resources to hire the people that you need to hire, to do the things you want to do. Wealth isn't always about money, but it's really about access to resources, power, and freedom. All right. So if your mind is focusing on lack, if you're thinking, I don't have enough, there's the enoughness blind spot. If your body is feeling like, I want to do stuff, but I can't, right? That's a clue that your enoughness blind spot is being triggered. Now, how do we open the floodgates if that's the blind spot that's hiding your insight, the insight into the truth about wealth in your life? Well, the first thing that we want to do to open the floodgates is we want to start soothing your mind. And one of the ways that you can do this is to ask the right question. Because what happens is when we feel like there's not enough, when we're feeling lack, most of our questions are focused on how do I get more? How do I generate wealth? How do I do this? All right. Instead, I invite you to ask a different question, which is, how will I know when enough is enough? How will I know when I'm wealthy? When you start asking that question, you start to see All right, the things you couldn't see because of that blind spot. You start to see things. And even if you don't have the answer to that right away, because your awareness is focused on how will I know if I'm wealthy, you're going to start to become aware of entirely new things that you do need to know to receive wealth. So that's at the mind level. The other thing that you want to do, and I have to check my notes on this, is I'd like you to think about, and this sometimes really takes slowing down, getting quiet so that you get out of your reaction mode and the belief system of not enough to just really settle into the energy, the feeling, the experience of enoughness. All right? And what I want you to think about is think about a time, think about the conditions in your life where you do not feel restricted, where instead you feel or have felt free, feel or have felt inspired, creative, you're in the flow, you're in the groove. There is no desire for more, for wealth. You're not looking for this idea or this concept of wealth to make things more possible for you. Think about situations or conditions where you actually feel that feeling of freedom, of unrestrictedness, of possibilities of power to just do what you want to do. All right? And really connect with what are some situations where that occurs. What that's going to do is a couple things. Number one, you're going to connect with the feeling of wealth, the feeling that you associate with wealth. And that's a very important concept when it comes to opening the flow gates, because here's the thing. There's no magic amount of anything in the outer world that is ever going to be enough. We have different thresholds of enough for different situations. And a great example of this is to think about times in your life where, let's say, you have a certain amount of money. Let's just stick with money for now. But again, wealth can be beyond money. You have a certain amount of money. And as long as that magic number is met, you're fine. All right. But as soon as the bank account goes lower, you start to think, I need to create wealth, or I need to generate more. Now, my experience with clients for over 25 years at all different levels of wealth, however we defined it, has shown me something. I have worked with people who literally live check to check or are going through times of crisis and adversity, and I do pro bono work, all the way to people who have, by most people's standards, are wealthy. They have 8-figure and beyond net worth and everything in between. And what's fascinating, this is what's always been fascinating to me, is it doesn't matter how many zeros are in your bank account. Wealth is based in a feeling, and that feeling is usually connected to freedom, being worry-free. So people believe that if I'm wealthy, I won't have to worry. Power, and infinite possibilities. Like there's no glass ceiling, there's no limit. Okay, so limitlessness. All right, so it's feeling based. So you really want to start connecting with what do I feel when I'm in the energy or the experience of worth, of wealth, because it doesn't matter what's actually happening in your bank account or not. It has to do with the feeling you're connecting with. So when you connect with that, then what opens the floodgates is you want to practice the 3-step receiving method, ALI. A is become aware of when you feel that feeling. It doesn't even have to do with money. Notice when you feel that feeling, whether it's ease, free, you're feeling particularly happy and energized, okay? You want to notice when that's happening in your life. A, awareness. Then you want to let it be here, which means fully experience that. Receiving is movement through your body, feelings that you feel, experiences that move through you. Feel it, because what happens is most of the time the thing that we really feel is the anxiety and the fear that comes up when we're feeling not enough. But when we can really let be here and experience fully the freedom, the power, the possibilities, and let it be here, let it take up space, you can even give thanks for it, then you start to open the floodgates to everything that matches that feeling, including all the ways you define wealth. Okay, so that's essential, is you let it be here. And then finally, when you really let yourself take that in, then you can activate the power of invitation. And you can say, how does it get even better than this? Or I am willing to experience wealth in expected and unexpected ways. All right, that's what you want to do to open the floodgates, is give your mind the correct thing to focus on, which is how will I know? When is enough enough? And then really connect to the feeling of wealth, whatever your body, your own experience associates with that. All right. So I hope that this gives you something fun to play with and experiment with, to open the floodgates, to start noticing what it is that causes stuckness and a blockage around flow in receiving. And the thing I want to highlight from this card, which is the Receive Wealth card of the Receive card deck, is this. As long as you believe that wealth is the source of your solutions or your problems, you will struggle. Wealth is not a thing. Wealth is not a feeling. Wealth is not good or bad. Wealth is a state of awareness. Wealth is a state of awareness. When you can become aware of where you're already wealthy, of when you're feeling the feelings that you associate with wealth, you open the floodgates. You can become a fortunate receiver. And good fortune means receiving things from unknown or unexpected places beyond what your mind can conceive of. All right. And to amplify this, here's your willingness mantra that we're focusing on for this week on receiving wealth. I am willing to deeply see all of the ways that I am wealthy right now. If your mind is going to lack, say that mantra as often as you like. You're going to start to become aware of wealth, what it really is, not what your mind thinks it is, and become an invitation for that. So I hope you like this. Please like, please share, please click the red subscribe button if you'd like to be notified of other videos that I release when they come out. And if you haven't heard the good news, the Receive Oracle card deck is ready for pre-orders. Just go to receiveCardDeck.com. They are coming out in late, when is it? April. I'm not sure if it's late or not, but it's coming out in April. And if you do pre-order now, for a limited time, because I just really wanted to inspire people to activate the power of receiving, you will access a gift bundle valued at $69. There are 4 of my most powerful classes that are available right away, and you'll also receive a companion workbook that you can use to enrich your experience with the Receive cards. So I hope you have a great day, and we will have one more Receive Wealth, Rise and Receive, this Friday. I'll see you at the next video. Bye, everybody.